Everybody, what's going on?
Wow.
HoloNet Marauders live. We're back to talk about Book of Boba. Sadly, Jack couldn't make it this week, but we have a special guest about to jump out of hyperspace. You guys heard from him? Is he here?
I think he's here.
Oh. There he is. Oh, and what do you know? It says it's Jack.
Yeah, I couldn't change it. Sorry.
No, it's good.
You guys called me through Sublight. What's going on with that? You're supposed to call me when I'm driving through Sublight.
True.
You're a little late, but it's okay.
I'm taking my new
classic
rep for a spin. You know, what can I say?
That's understandable.
You got pulled over, right? And you got out of there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I love how that happened.
I know.
But really, so hey everybody, hey chat. So welcome to HoloNet Marauders Live, Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian.
What a title! What a
I
great
know,
title.
honestly.
Yeah, I really didn't expect season 3 to hit so fast.
I know.
To be
Yeah,
quite
this
honest.
was
Dropping the
basically
first episode on surprise.
I mean, I guess we'll just dive right into it, right? We have a lot to talk
Diving
about.
into it.
Yeah.
The
Dive
Meatpacking
right in.
Plant.
There it is.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
I talked with Matt a bit yesterday, so
The
this will be interesting.
Meatpacking Plant.
The Meatpacking Plant. I love the Meatpacking Plant, and it's funny. I keep going on different shows and being like, "Oh, it was like Daredevil." I've never seen Daredevil, but I'm using this example of like it felt like Daredevil. I know the vibe of Daredevil. I've seen some bits.
No, but you need to watch Daredevil. It's so good.
Hell.
Yeah.
I've watched like
voice-
half of the
The
first
voice is
season.
great.
It is so good.
How could you stop? All right, go on. Sorry, we're getting.
I got busy. Okay.
Having
John-
Din
John
Djarin
alert.
yell
Okay.
at you for not watching Daredevil is the greatest thing
Yes.
you're gonna get out of tonight.
Something else ridiculous is probably gonna happen, so whatever. But yeah, so we get the Din intro, just like there he is, the epic silhouettes always, and then like yeah, AJ, I loved the Meatpacking Plant also because not only was it very Daredevil, it was just very like mafia, very
Classic
like
mafia,
this is a
yeah.
mob hideout because they're in a
Mafia.
meatpacking plant, and then they're in the back room counting their money.
Too earthly. I think I hit my threshold on what looks Star Warsy and what looks earthly. That just looked like an Earth place. That literally
would you-
looks like they were filming at a meatpacking.
How would you
plant.
make a Meatpacking Plant more Star Warsy?
So instead of like plastic strips, I put like ray shields or something.
That really was the biggest part that made
Okay.
it terrestrial was the plastic strips.
I'd put
I
more
love those.
steam and
I'm a
smoke
sucker
and
for
just
those.
greeblies on the wall instead of tile. Yeah,
There's
look,
like that thing on the left
couple.
there.
There's a couple.
that
I
that
mean-
looks like a coffee maker.
These
It
guys
might
weren't
be.
Star Warsy enough
Okay.
to you.
Oh, there they are. I
These
love
guys
those
are
guys.
the only Star Wars thing
Cartoonians
about
are
it.
great.
I love the Clatoonians. I love the beanie,
I
just
love
like the beanie he
And
has.
the little
on.
newsy cap. Yep.
yeah, there's
You know, they were reasonable. They understood a good bargain when it was staring them in the face.
You know
It
what?
just,
What
like,
are you gonna do?
snuck
Some guys
through
like,
and-
you can have all the money you want, or I'm gonna kill you. Take your pick. You're gonna go for the money.
The
Exactly.
Meatpacking Plant's getting a lot of love.
I thought it was great. I thought it was good.
To each their own.
To each
So,
their own.
I get it.
I still love that voice.
So
The lighting was beautiful.
There
also-
it is.
Oh, there's
Halo
Glavis.
And I mean, Star Wars has had ring. I learned today, like because of
here's
this,
the
that
actual thing.
there's been other ring worlds in Star Wars, and I mean,
Yeah.
then there's Ring World.
There's Ring World.
I didn't
thank
know
you.
about Ringworld
Okay.
till 5 minutes ago. Let's hear it, Matt.
We
Explain
were talking about
Ringworld.
Ring World. Okay, so this, I forget the name of it. I was actually going to
Ringworld.
literally like, no, it's the name of the thing in Mando or in
giving you a
Boba.
hard time. Glavis.
Glavis, thank you.
Looked it up because
Glavis.
I
Glavis
was fixated on
looks-
that yesterday.
Directly modeled after Ring World as opposed to Halo, because in Ring World, the whole point was that they built this giant ring all the way around the sun. And what they did was they put these orbiting squares in between Ring World and the star, so that exactly what you see right there, bring the picture back up,
sorry.
where it's like
Yeah.
the shade, where it's like squared off light, like night and day cycles like that, were constantly like rotating around the ring at all times. They were going much slower, like a normal day and night cycle, because it was literally around a star. But yeah, I mean, that looks directly modeled after that concept. And yes,
That's
it also
true.
looks like
Swoop
Treasure
City.
Planet.
Swoop
I
City.
I also
Yeah.
got some Mass Effect vibes.
Yeah, I said that. It looks just like the Citadel, like when they were walking around, like on it. Like I got initially like the Halo vibes from like video
Yeah.
game Halo at the first look, but obviously it wasn't like a natural like world. But when you actually go into the city, it was very the Citadel from Mass Effect to me.
And it also reminded me of
I liked it up there.
the two binary planets that you see Cassian first appear in Rogue One.
Yeah,
Oh
the Ring
yeah,
of
the Ring of
Kafrine.
Kafrine.
Yeah, I love
Classic.
that
I mean,
area.
Right, yeah.
that I
Yeah.
love when Star Wars does like the non-planet like settlements. I love when they do that. Like, and I thought maybe this is just me being absolutely crazy, and it probably is. But when I first saw this like giant space station made out of all these like almost imperial-looking parts, I thought it was New Alderaan, which is because what happens in the Aftermath novels, as I always bring up. The New Republic actually commissions the destroyed remnants of the first Death Star to be rebuilt where Alderaan used to be, as part of like a new settlement for the Alderanians called
cool.
New Alderaan. And I thought we were finally going to get to see that. I thought that was going to be like a really cool idea, you know.
I think
But,
it was
oh
still
well.
really cool. I like
Yeah,
how
no,
it was
no.
its own place and it wasn't new something. It was just
Yeah.
Glavis.
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 Classic Glavis.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we're skipping over. Yeah,
little bit.
thank you, Matt, because I
Let's hear
wanted
the
to
line.
dip back to that fight because
Yes.
when
Oh, yeah.
when we heard that Din was going to be showing up, I mean, when I was going to be showing, I'll stop. I was most curious about is A, does he have the Darksaber still? B, is he an emotional wreck without Grogu? We'll get to that.
So yes and yes.
And yes, and
And
yeah.
C, how does he fight with the Darksaber? Because
With
that's
great
one
difficulty.
thing.
Which
And
I
yeah,
absolutely loved.
given
Yes,
what we
yes,
knew about
in
it
a
in
mess.
Rebels, that was so cool to see that translated into live action, where it's just like, just
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh!
There it is.
Oh,
Careful swinging that in your cockpit, dude. Careful.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You're gonna have to go see Pelly again.
Yeah, I'm
We
just gonna make
got,
her fix it.
you guys
Still
are
got the
always
warranty
the.
first 30 days.
I
No,
think
but
you-
yeah, when he just
Here's a
cut through.
swinging later on, but we'll get to there.
Oh, we'll get to there.
We'll get to there. But yeah, you
That-
guys are talking
those-
like
those
swinging like a
swings.
baseball bat, but
Chopped up that
here he
chopped
is.
up that mob boss in a meatpacking plant.
And then cut off his head like he's a Witcher
Talk about
boss.
a choice cut.
I know. Hey.
Choice
All right,
choice
really.
chops.
If you kill somebody, did you really have to bring them their head? Is that a thing in Star Wars? Couldn't you? I feel like there's a million different ways you can prove
It's a
that that
bounty
person is
hunter
dead.
Proof
thing.
of death, you can fake a hologram.
That's a bounty hunter
guess.
thing.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
That's how you
Fine,
know
fair
they're
enough.
dead.
Feet's bringing the whole body up there, so
Well, yeah, true.
at
Yeah.
least half a body.
Oh, but that long take, that one shot,
Yes.
was so
Coming off
cool
the
going to
elevator into the club. I love
Oh, that was cool.
that was
Like,
it was a
oh,
one shot,
man.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least
I love
they
the
did it.
music.
Chris Bartlett was playing the alien that was making awkward looks at Din. I
The
love that.
Cascadag. I love the Cascadags.
Oh,
Oops.
First appeared
What are you
in The
doing?
Force Awakens. That's a sequel alien right there.
That's-
Cascadag.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Every time we enter an elevator with Din Djarin there, that's exactly what it looks like every time. So
Nice
I
Mando
can't wait
costume.
for like that to be like everywhere. Like obviously people are always cosplayers are always trying to like recreate scenes. Like that elevator thing is gonna be like everywhere now. Just like,
All right, so then
The
I'll
next
be the.
con or I think there's a troop next weekend. We can pull that off.
I'll
has,
dress like a
We'll s-
Cascadag
we'll see.
then, and I'll follow Mandos around all Star Wars Celebration and get into elevators with them.
has
for them.
anyone actually burned themselves with a lightsaber before?
No,
that we've
that's
seen?
what I was
No.
about to say.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
the
that
first
was
time
really
we've
cool.
ever seen that, and I
That
thought
was
that
really
was
cool.
really cool. Like
It had to be Din.
actually, yeah, well, of
Amateur
course,
hour.
Din is definitely like the perfect translation of a character that we see struggle and grow in skill. And I love that, he gets his hands on the Darksaber and he just has no idea what to do with it. And he slices his thigh like it's friggin' deli meat. And like, it was just such a cool, it's like weird for me to be geeking out about somebody slicing themselves with a lightsaber, but it's so relatable because it's exactly what I would do. And it's what I used to do all the time when you used to play lightsaber fights in the street or something. You'd always hit yourself with the blade.
You
and
did
you'd always
it.
be like, there I go.
In our college film that we made.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
gosh.
Remember that? And you were hopping on one leg or something. So.
Yeah, I sliced off my own leg. And that's the thing. Everybody has done that. If you ever fought lightsabers when you were a kid, you always hit yourself with the lightsaber and you're like, well, I'd be screwed.
But you
I'm
didn't
done.
fix it with spray paint.
No, I
That's
didn't.
true.
remember
That's very
afterwards.
true.
I loved that, the back to spray. Like, that was just, like, very
That was cool.
Very
Just,
subtle. Just like, oh,
throw
here it
that
is.
in there.
I just love Din's attitude. He's like, listen, I can find other buyers. I have no time for your crap, and if you don't give me money right now, I'm out.
Why did that Ishi Tib want him to eat with them so bad? Why
know,
did he?
right?
She was like, no,
She
please
wanted
stay.
him
And
to
he's
take
like,
this off.
yeah, honestly,
Oh, yeah.
that's probably it.
'Cause I was
Everybody just
legit-
wants him to watch him eat.
People just want to know what's under here. Like you,
They're very, very curious.
when I was at a Renaissance fair with Mando, and my friend passed me some food, everyone's like, and I'm like, come on, haven't you seen season 2?
I love seeing food in Star Wars. I don't know why. It's always something new. It's always something crazy. They had like some blue thing on the table, I think, right?
Damn,
don't
I
know.
missed
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
It's fun to like one of my favorite food items in Star Wars was the Kolo clawfish.
Yes.
And then in
Which
Yeah,
is basically
in
just
Solo.
like caviar.
Yeah.
It's just like Kolo clawfish
it
eggs.
just
that
it
just slope
sounds
down.
cool.
It does.
Is,
And I
is it
love-
this? It is this. There you go.
I guess
There's
it
a
wasn't
shot of the
blue.
table.
It's like green.
There's
Something's
like a
blue
salad
there.
in the center there.
Blue
That
salad.
red stuff looks like Kolo clawfish.
It would.
So-
It might be. Yeah. Crimson Dawn
love-
confirmed.
There
It's
you
just
go.
so exciting to see a non-Force user have the opportunity in live action to try and wield a light weapon, because we know that based on the original trilogy. Oh no, I lost my speaker.
Oh yeah, you're gone. Yeah, you're having a little bit of difficulty there. Hang on.
You're flying out of
Okay.
range.
How's
You gotta
that?
come back. There
Yeah,
you go.
That's
that
better.
was
Here you
better.
go.
We know from the original trilogy that they were choreographed more like old school sword battles with like claymores, really heavy swings and everything. And we know in the prequels the only reason they can swing so fast is because they know through the Force how to let the blade do the work. And we see that with Kanan when he's teaching Sabine. He's like, this blade is heavy, it's ancient.
Yeah.
You're trying to move it. And the armor says the same thing. Like you're fighting against the blade. And most of the people in the original trilogy aren't very well trained, or they are so ancient or mechanical that they don't have the movement that they had to be able to wield a lightsaber properly.
Yeah.
And it's
So-
cool to see like this confirmation of why there's this difference between the prequels and the original trilogy.
And the sequels, which is
Baseball
one of the
bat.
things people point out all the time, is that the sequel lightsabers look the heaviest of all. And I actually think that's a really good kind of explanation, where
I was a
Luke,
fan of that. Yeah.
This again? Yeah.
Luke is
there you
swinging
go.
his lightsaber like it's really heavy in the OT, and of course he passes that technique on to Kylo because that's all he knows. And Rey, who's never held a lightsaber, all of a sudden is swinging this thing and is like, "Oh, this is heavier than I thought." And really, it explains why they're swinging at each other like they're baseball bats, which I personally love. I love the look of the heavy lightsaber fights.
Same.
Yeah.
Rolling this back really quick. Is that a Thielen? Could that be Latzarazzi? So I'm gonna pull up
Razzie.
this one again. There we go. So directly next to the guy that's in charge, to the left there, I do believe that's a Thielen, right?
Mm.
Do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Are we feeling it now?
I've never stopped.
I don't know my alien races well enough.
I think that it is. I think that it is. That'd be really cool if
Latzarazzi.
somehow she returns back up. That'd be like a deep cut. We'll see. I
But-
really appreciated
Thank you,
this.
Clone Hero.
Oh yeah.
That was
I,
cool.
just about I love that.
Very
Immediately,
clever.
Jamie was like, "That's the
I was like,
Mandalorian
that's the T
face."
visor and
Yeah.
the cheeks. Like, look at that. That's so cool. Like, I
Every-
was very excited to
Every
see it.
fifth grader who had like the little secret pen with the black light feels so
Yeah.
vindicated right now, myself included.
I love how the covert literally just like drew the little drawings along the way, and it was like, oh, but you can only see it if you have like the infrared vision and whatnot. And so it's just like, okay, yeah, everyone with the visor can see that, but like other people can find your hideout, guys. Like,
Yeah, if they just know what spectrum to look in.
yeah, it's just good stuff. Good stuff.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
love
was.
the last one we see where it's like the mix of the two, of the Mythosaur
Yeah.
and the T-Visor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. That should become the universal symbol of like Mandalorians, I think.
It
Who do you think
probably-
drew them, Paz or the armor?
Paz?
The armor.
Armor.
Oh,
Paz
Okay.
has big
Tiebreaker?
sausage
armor.
fingers.
I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
Paz though, because I think the armor would be like, you do this right now, and Paz would be like, okay.
Paz would be
Paz
using
is
like a
too
Draw,
drawn
crayon.
to
draw these
exactly.
markings to lead others to us.
He wouldn't know. He wouldn't know a T from a. I don't
He
even
just
know. I don't
he has
know.
a picture of it. He has like a hollow projection, and he just like traces over it. That's what it is. So
And people
it's,
are like watching him draw on the walls, like, "You good, buddy?"
they're like, "What are you doing, sir? Like
What are you
that's
doing
not
there?"
anything."
I was very surprised to see. I mean, I guess we knew that where that was going once they saw the messages, but I was
Ooh.
surprised to see the armor in Paz.
Honestly,
didn't
me
think
me
we'd see
too.
too.
them in.
I
I
thought
was
they were
expecting
gone.
that.
I was almost a little disappointed in when Paz was seemingly killed off screen. Like I always figured he was just gone with the rest of them, and it was only the
Yeah.
armorer left. But
Yeah.
I'm glad Paz was back, and I'm glad that it's directly addressed that like Paz Vizsla wants the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Because that
He's
was
a Vizsla.
something that was like hanging over my head too. It's like, oh, we killed off Paz Vizsla, now we can't fight for the Darksaber, but now we got that. And that was
And
got
now
his-
it's like
he
no,
got
that
his
was
booty
foreshadowing
kicked.
right in front of us.
yeah.
Yeah, let me bring this back up again.
It was
And
a
I'm
pretty
glad-
even fight, but look at
I'm
that.
glad that transitioned from just being an Easter egg to being like an actual character. Because Paz
Yeah.
Vizsla, you know, you get it on like the merchandise box, or somebody says, "Did you know that's Paz Vizsla, the ancestor of Pre and Tar Vizsla?" But you never get that in the show, and now they finally like addressed that and actually had him as a character. It was cool. That was
Yeah.
a cool thing.
What do you guys feel about? We kind of all talked about this off through texting and whatever. But what do you guys feel about the armor and the what do you call it? The Children of the Watch? I just blanked
Yeah.
out. Children of the Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of this little clan here? I've personally never been a big fan of them. They're good characters for the show, but they're too much of a they're too big of stiffs, I should say. And I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like they are exactly a fanatical
Stiffs.
cult. That's like what they are.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's gotten to the point where like Din has had like experiences outside of this and like experienced like beyond this one way of Mandalorians, and when he returns and he's had his life experiences, they're not accepting him for what his experiences are. So I think that it's just a huge reflection back. I gotta call out our friend Andy like posted they're on Force Friend podcast. They did a little like bit about this, like saying how it's really big for someone possibly who would have like religious trauma, like growing up or something like that, and then seeing your family or whoever put you through that, and then having them shove it back in your face like that, it's very jarring. And so it's something that we
Jarring.
weren't necessarily
Very jarring.
very jarring. No, very jarring. Something that we weren't necessarily like expecting to see in this. And like I urge you to check out Force Friends, because like they have like a good like bit like about this as well, and they can talk about it so much more. So definitely check their stuff out about that. But very unexpected to like have like this big of a butting heads moment. I've never really liked the armor that much though.
No, I mean she's badass, but
Yeah, I liked
Get
her.
out.
Why
as
is
a
she always sitting
character.
there like this with her tools? Just sitting there like this all the time.
meditating.
Well, yeah,
This is the way.
What?
she's
That's the way.
sitting.
Okay.
I like
I-
sitting. I can relate.
I don't
I can
like
just
this
sit
is
around
the
and do
way.
nothing.
No,
okay.
I mean that
I-
if you don't like them, you don't like This Is the Way. So it all adds up.
I like them as adversaries. I didn't like
Yeah.
them when they were portrayed as the quote-unquote protagonists or good guys, or on the good guys' side,
Agreed.
on the main character side. I couldn't really get behind them, but I always liked the armorer as this almost, I don't want to say middle ground, but this kind of like third party between like the good guys, the Mandalorians, the bad guys, the Empire, and then like the armorer and these like cultist Mandalorians
She's
in
a
the middle.
cool
being, like,
cultist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the Empire,
She's
and I
a
hate
cool cultist.
people who take their helmets off. So she's kind of like an adversary for both sides. She's going to kind of be like somebody in the middle.
I think we're
Here
on the
comes
same
Brent.
page here.
No, AJ, I was just gonna say,
Crackpot theories.
don't look. Oh god.
So
Okay, I gotta cast light on Brent's. Sometimes he has good ones. This
I
one,
don't think the armor is.
don't like
Omega.
that one.
Okay, well, okay, moving on.
Moving on. What do you got?
Well, I just want to say, I think we're all on the same page here. It's clear that they were a toxic source of nurture for him growing up. I mean, a broken clock can be right twice a day, and just because of the fact that they happened to rescue Din during whatever attack the droids were pulling on what I think is Naboo, but I'm willing to admit it's not perfect. Especially with this episode, I'm less solid in that theory. It's clear that he needed to try to go back in order to be able to find a way past them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he was going to go back to that comfort zone without a mission, without Grogu, because he didn't exactly become alienated with them just because he met Bo-Katan. I mean, she's not exactly perfect.
Yeah,
Right.
he's never had this kind of experience before, and so I think that one of the biggest chunks of it for both seasons of The Mandalorian, he grows so much, and then he gives away Grogu because that was his goal for that group. And so seeing him again, he's a little bit lost because he has had all this growth, but like he's also like, well, what do I do now? So you go back to what you know, which is bounty hunting and returning to your people, and then realizing when you return to your people, hey, maybe this isn't for me. And he's realizing that, which is good. And so he's gonna try and like blaze his own trail now.
And that's
could
why
see.
I'm at least okay with this episode, because you think in my position, I would love this episode. I'd be so excited for how much Din we got, but I'm also a man of expectations, and I think that if you're going to give me a show called Book of Boba Fett, I shouldn't have an episode that's dedicated entirely to a completely different character.
Yeah,
I mean,
there he
Yeah.
is.
The Bad Batch did that too, but they had
At
16
least-
episodes of breathing room to do that in.
And
Here,
at least the Bad Batch was involved somewhat.
They showed up in one scene.
exactly.
And then-
I'm not
and
even
then
sure if
the
Din's
second
gonna be
part
here
they
in
came
the
back.
next episode. And
I
for
think
me,
he will be.
the only reason
I'm not sure.
I'm okay with the episode, and I'm willing to accept it, even though I think a show should be able to stand without him, is the fact that he's going through that same thematic growth, trying to move past bounty hunting and the Children of the Watch. Because I mean, just because they happen to be on Concordia, when the Night of a Thousand Tears happened, which that was traumatizing.
Yeah, we gotta
That
go back and.
was-
I got a lot of
We'll,
photos of that
we'll
one.
double back on that for sure, but continue.
Just because they happen to be in the right place, right time, doesn't make they the armorer speaks about that moment as if that was when they were preordained to be right, and Bo-Katan was cursed, and that's
Yeah.
all
Because they were
superstition, that's all hearsay,
exiled.
based on the convenience of them happening to be not on Mandalore at the time.
Yeah.
Because of why were they on Mandalore? Oh right, they got banished because they tried to stage a coup.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
a lot going on. I
What a
think
mess.
that for what this episode gave us for Mandalorian lore, I think it did a well enough job.
Mandalorian.
We just have to remember it is coming from. We'll get to that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that the armorer, this is just her point of view of what happened. And so, yes, you can tell the history, but again, history is different from every different person. History is different in different books. So, like, you never know what actually the full history of it is. There's even, like, a line at one point she talks about saying, but that's in Legends. And it's like,
That was good. I
I
always
love
like when
they throw that in there.
Yeah.
Those Terminator style shots of the K2s just decimating
what
anyone who
happened?
lies.
Wait,
Why did they
Why
send
are they-
K2s in?
I know, they're not- I didn't even think that
Why did they use
K2s
stormtroopers?
were like combat droids.
So-
I always figured they were like technical maintenance droids.
They were because Cassian told them to.
Well,
So,
That's true.
Night of a Thousand Tears. So, this is the first time
Gideon.
we've gotten any sort of like. Is it the first time we've gotten any sort of crumbs like to actually see it?
yeah,
Because
we
it's always
got-
just been spoken of.
Yeah,
Look at all
no,
these
this is definitely-
bombers.
Oh,
lot
Very-
Look at
God.
these explosions.
Terrifying.
Very like World War II
Holy smokes.
video.
Yeah, Terminator in World War II stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Terminator in World War
definitely what
II.
they were
Which
going
is like
for.
that's Star Wars, isn't it? Sci-fi
Yeah.
and World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
It's a good combo. I feel bad because I always was a huge fan in Rebels of Bo-Katan getting the Darksaber, and it was always like it was like a
Ah.
triumphant moment.
Good point.
KX.
Mm.
Oh right.
Hey,
Okay.
ex-troopers.
Yeah, they glassed it. They glassed the shit out of it.
I was just gonna say they probably didn't want to waste the manpower and we're just
Yeah,
like.
people
"Oh,
keep
yeah."
saying that,
Yeah.
that they used nuclear bombs. I'm not convinced those
There was
are
a
Well,
mushroom-
it was
there was a
mushroom
mushroom cloud.
but I mean
mushroom
like
clouds can be caused by other things that aren't nukes. You know.
No. I've played
What do you
Fallout.
mean?
Looked just like that.
Yeah, I see-
those,
I see you got
those
the
are
ring-
nukes.
You got the ring around
Explosions.
it, too.
Those are not
It's definitely implied to be nukes.
That
I don't
top
think so.
right, that's a nuke.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Double
look,
nuke.
there's
Double
probably
mushroom.
an equivalent of a nuke in Star Wars. There's
Well,
probably
we've had
multiple
nukes in Star
equivalents for
Wars.
nukes in
In
Star Wars.
Phasma,
It's called the
there's nukes in Star Wars.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we're gonna be like arguing explosives all day, and we don't have a record here to like come in and like tell us what the truth is. So we're just gonna have to
Nuked.
roll with it.
Well, whatever
But-
the case is, what was I saying? I don't even
don't know.
remember.
Do we want to go
anymore.
back to the
There we
mall
go.
thing?
The mall?
That
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Um,
Go back to the mall.
So someone else like raised this to me today as well. That it's interesting that the armorer's helmet has horns. And like it's something I've always noticed, but never really like thought about at great length. But like the Mandalorians in the Clone Wars have horns on their helmets, like Gar Saxon and whatnot. So it's just
Mm.
like
That's a really good point.
It's very interesting.
I honestly think that might be where they're
Yeah.
going with that.
so. Yeah,
hope
so it's
so.
just something
I
to
would
think
like that.
about, and nothing that they've ever really touched upon. And it is interesting. Like her visor is more like night owl-ish, but she has the horns. So it's a weird blend of both. So I don't know.
True.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
it is night owly.
Yeah,
But
the
I-
visor is at least
I
like
always
all
thought-
like the all the
I always
female
thought, yeah,
visors in the show
The
look that way for
Mandalorian
some
women
reason
have
though.
the different pattern. I
That
don't know
style,
why.
yeah. I want to see Bo-Katan and the armorer kind of just
Duke it out.
duke it out verbally, physically. I don't know.
It's not
I-
passing the Bechdel test.
the more everyone in the chat and everyone's thinking like they'll fight with them, but I would want to see the reclaiming of Mandalore, and for once, just Mandalorians teaming up together for one good cause.
Looks like
I don't know what that would
Mandalore is
be, but-
pretty nuked right now.
Yeah.
Well, they want to
What's there to
reclaim it.
reclaim?
That's
Although,
why I don't think it's nukes.
Hey,
I don't think the planet
transition.
is unlivable.
It's been enough time. I don't know.
It has not been enough time.
Anyways, I'm not here to talk about nukes. I don't know anything about those except unless it's Fallout. The whole underground journey thing I thought was very interesting, and I saw someone online had a interesting theory about that too. But we'll get to that. What do you guys think of the whole? I forget all the details, but Din gets kicked out. To be redeemed, he can go do whatever.
He has to go to
underground.
the living waters under Mandalore in the
Right.
mines.
Yeah.
Was the term that she uses. I mean, that's
Is he
I
gonna
think
do
it's
it?
supposed
Like,
to be an impossible
Well, yeah.
task, right?
I don't
'Cause,
want him
mean,
to do
he
it.
says there are like they're rubble. It's been glassed, and she's like, "This is the way," and like implying
which
you're
way?
never gonna get that.
I
Yeah.
honestly think he's going to go for it, and I think that's what's probably going to get him to Mandalore
Does he
to
want
start
to, though?
like the wheels turning for reclaiming Mandalore. I think he, yeah,
What
I
does
honestly
Din
think
I
he
don't
want?
think
does.
he
It's a good
knows what he
question.
I don't
wants.
know.
He
He
wants
wants
Grogu.
Grogu.
I'm with Jamie. I think he's still lost, and like especially when we see him on the transport, like he's just so emotionally gone and just wants to be back taking care of Grogu.
yeah. I
Which-
mean, because he
that's a
wants
vibe.
purpose. He wants like a mission.
They turned
That's
that plant to
exactly what
glass.
Grogu was for him for a while until it became more was a mission, and then, going back, the armorer gives him a mission to go take a bath, and now he's gonna go do that because it's again he doesn't
That's a
know
good
what he
point
wants,
here.
and he's just gonna follow the stuff. Oh,
You
A lot of the stuff
remember?
it could be like an
That's true.
underground.
I was just gonna say, you remember in the Hunger Games,
Sanctuary.
District 13 gets nuked, but everyone just moves underground.
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys remember the Hunger
That's
Games?
true.
That series is over 10 years old.
Miscommunication.
It's
Oh,
good.
wow.
Don't believe when people say that Mandalore was nuked because it wasn't nuked.
It's
believe
space
anything you hear.
nuked,
It's not
okay?
space nuked.
It's not
Different
space
kind
nuked.
of nuke.
There's no
It's
nuclear radiation
spooked.
on Mandalore.
It
I
got
will
spooked?
stand by
He got
that.
spooked.
Okay,
This kid got
that's fine.
spooked.
Oh, he was so cute though.
I like that kid.
I
He
love
was way
him.
cuter than the baby, than like the toddler Rodian that we saw in episode 1. Like
That's
the makeup and
that was
prosthetics
Greedo in
have
the
come a
deleted
long way.
scene.
Yeah, young
Deleted
Greedo.
Greedo.
Yeah,
Right, that was young Greedo.
it was young Greedo, but they never actually confirmed it because the deleted scene was not.
The
So-
subtitles say it's
Thank
Greedo, so
God.
that's good enough for me.
I
He's in
love.
other scenes.
So, Din taking the transport.
I love that he had to
love
check
that he
the
had to
dark
do that,
saber.
first of all.
Unbelievable.
He had to check
yeah, this
everything. He even
box
had
of
a little
weapons.
gun that I had no idea existed.
What is that little
The
gun?
last
I
2
love it.
days
The
making.
the cricket from Men
This
in
is-
Black.
It's actually
Jax
so,
made it in one day.
It's called an FP45 Liberator. It was
Uh-huh.
it's basically a stamped aluminum gun that was used in France by Allied forces as a way to just quickly take out some Nazis in Nazi France or like Paris and be able to just steal their guns and go from there. So like when he pulled that out, I'm like, what? Where'd you get that? Where did you get that? I was like, great, now I
French
have work to do.
resistance gun. Gee willikers.
Hey,
He could have got it here on
anyway,
Glavis.
I
that?
love how he like literally walked through a metal detector or whatever, and he just goes off, and the guy next to him's just like, "Was that you?"
we
And I
predicted
love
that.
the sigh.
We predicted that this past summer. We made a video with Jack. I don't think we have it right now, but
No, I didn't.
We
I didn't
posted on
load it in,
Instagram.
but it's
It's
on
on
our
the
social. That's a good one. Yeah. So Tatooine.
That was
Um,
funny. And then
I
face
loved how
off.
he
Oh,
had a
no.
very Homer Simpson moment where he's like, and I counted the pennies in the ashtray. Like I know exactly.
That was good.
Everything
That
was-
was-
I
know
love how
everything. It reminded me of you,
everything in
Jack.
there.
Yeah.
You're more Din than Din.
I am very dead. Like, don't touch my stuff.
What were you gonna say, Jamie?
No, I don't know. I was looking for. I don't think I grabbed a photo of it, but the gift was Grogu shaped, and
Yep.
no.
Very clearly.
So I made a meme about this. but I was near crying when the little kid Rodian like peeked over. I started
Phase
crying once he saw like the little gif because I'm like, oh no, it's shaped like him.
I know.
It was
It was a cool
just
shot.
too cute. Just
Grogu.
It was very sad.
I honestly think we're going to see Grogu next week, but that's probably jumping way ahead. But I honestly think we're going to see Grogu.
We'll get to that. But
I hope not.
we were talking about Din being lost, and obviously he's going to Tatooine. But I think we feel this episode is so separate from Book of Boba, but by season's end, it'll all mix. It has to. I mean, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
Continuing to reserve judgment.
yeah, exactly. There's 2 big episodes left. I mean, for all we know, that could be movie length, so a lot could happen in that time.
That's true.
And Boba might be this guidance that Din needs in his life. That I don't know. Some lesson will be learned, I think.
I just think it's weird that he ended the episode, not to jump ahead to the very end, but I think it's weird that Din literally says, I have to go visit a little friend, like, first. And
At
Fennec's
first I'm like,
just like, well,
wait a
we
minute,
need you
Krogan.
now.
Yeah, it's like, so you're going to be back like tomorrow? Or...
like
Where are
when,
you going?
like, I just think that's kind of funky that he's like, immediately, like, I gotta go do that
look,
now, so like...
He's offering his services for free. The least they can do is give him a couple of days to
Oh yeah, what a
get
class
his affairs
act.
in order.
True.
For Boba, and it's on the house.
It's on the house. That was
Yeah.
great. I love that. Okay, we got to talk. We got to talk about Pelimoto and.
All the droids.
Fucking-
BD.
Oh, the
Oh my God! There he is.
What
Dude,
What are
this-
the odds
Oh
it's
my
actual
God.
BD?
No.
Zero.
This
Could
whole
be.
scene
No,
was oh
BD
no,
is still with
no, that's
Cal,
just
dude.
ABD.
BD is still
Yeah,
with
she just
Cal.
kept saying he's BD.
You think Cal's still alive?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think he's still alive.
100%,
I mean,
but-
him and BD are hanging out doing stuff. That's not BD.
We'll see.
Especially
think
with the
that-
recent
yeah.
announcement. I think it's. I mean, it doesn't have to be Cal. It could very well take place in like the High Republic or whatever. But I think people want Cal and to
I hope
continue
they
Oh
his
yeah,
adventures.
we all
so
want Cal.
Yeah.
I think that's just a BD unit, especially because like we see him functioning the same way. Like he's useful around the starport. We see him like showing where the part's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Man, I could use a BD unit when I'm building Legos.
Dude.
I'll tell you what.
Like that's a,
I really
that's a
want him
straight
to go
up
with Din.
game mechanic that they're just
Oh.
implementing
Yeah.
into the show. That's like
They
a
had-
literal game mechanic. I thought
They
that was
had
like the
his
coolest thing.
his little foot like was
Yeah.
like broken at one point, which is
Oh,
like
yeah,
when he
just
does
like
get all
Dan.
busted, and then he did his like little dance and everything, and like
I
oh
have
my
to
God,
say,
like
They did a great job.
Thanks,
This
all guy.
completed the bingo card for the Mando Boba Fett connections, game. Right? We have the animated shows with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. We have the novels with Cobb Vanth. We have the comics with Black Chrysanthemum. And now we have the games with BD units. We have
Bingo! I got bingo.
everything. You got bingo. Exactly. We have all of the different media brought into the Mando Book of Boba Fett series. I think that's the coolest thing. They're really
That's
like
a great point.
going out of their way to really encapsulate everything from every single piece of media. Yes, there it is.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
silver. That's so perfect.
I know.
I'm
I-
bummed
They made
that,
these silver
that he
ones.
made this a bubble. And
Yeah.
it basically
For
turned
Grogu.
into the Homer Simpson car.
I know. It does look like the Homer Simpson car.
Like clearly that's going to be for Grogu, but I was kind of hoping he'd get an astromech.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how legit would that be?
I wanted him to get
Or
BD,
like a BD
the
or a
BD.
BD unit. What
Yeah,
about
I
a
wanted him to
BD?
get
The
BD.
BD would have been cool too, and it would give me an excuse to finally finish making mine.
But yeah, I love how the N1 we haven't even talked about the N1 guys. Like
Oh,
let's
yeah.
let's really dive into it. I love
I know.
how it is silver and slightly yellow, like Din's armor. Like
And
I
it's
think
like a
that
muscle
is just
car.
like a really cool
Yeah.
like, touch.
Dude, it's literally like it's a literal souped up hot rod with the exposed engine in the front
they said-
and everything.
They
I
said
mean,
they
how
wanted to
fun
buy
is
some
that?
muscle.
Yeah.
There's the muscle. There's the muscle.
There you go. That's
That was
just-
some straight up Fast and
Oh.
Furious level montage. I love the Jawas coming in. Like, what do you need?
Oh,
I
not only that,
loved
but we
it.
got
Very
some.
fuzzy.
Yeah,
Very
furry.
Sorry, yeah.
Pelimoto has dated a
Dated a
Jawa.
Jawa. How does
Pelly.
that even work? How do you?
I
even
love
make
how
that
one of
work?
them is
It
like, "Hey,
works.
so
It
you want to get drinks later?" And Pelly's like, "No, I'm working on
I'm working on
myself. It's fine."
myself.
Look at me.
You know what? Respect.
Pelly is such a good character, and like she's just been like perfect, like every single time we've seen her, like as well. So
Yes, sir.
I haven't
this-
even gotten in that.
Oh my
yet.
god, this episode was so. I mean,
Wizard.
this was just episode
my
one. This was
God.
just the Phantom Menace, like
Oh my god, yeah.
references, like
The fact
everywhere.
Once we saw the track, that was probably the most excited I was all episode.
That's
Beggar's
unbelievable.
Canyon.
Beggars Canyon, going through sideways. This
Din-
shot,
So
the
this
ramp.
is-
N1
They still haven't
Starfighter
fixed the
around
ramp.
the Boonta Eve track.
So this is from
He almost went full Luke.
Yeah.
Pulls
Hang on, I'm
out a
trying to find
Whopper
the other
right on
one.
track.
This
He
one
should've.
was Mandalorian. This one was... What show is this? I don't know.
This is
That was
That's
Boba
for
Fett.
episode 1 when
I
Sebulba's
guess it
like,
kind of looked like the group.
No,
of
that one's the Boba
snappers.
Fett one. I'm trying to... I have so many screen caps, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find like the one that is
I'll try to help
from
you here.
episode 1. I don't think I added it. Oops.
how did they not
Oh, well.
repair the service ramp partition in 40 years?
They gave up.
yeah, I mean, I'm
Infrastructure is
sure
not
once,
being very
once
well
Anakin
funded.
pulled that stunt, they're like, dude, all right, that's just a jump from here on out.
That's it.
It's the Anakin Skywalker Memorial Ramp.
There you go.
Yes. So there were houses. Unfortunately, I didn't grab the screen cap of it, and I can't find it. But
There was like a few,
yeah.
but it was much more.
there were houses
It's
in
populated
the
now.
I guess maybe pod racing's gone out of style since the Empire.
That's sad. I mean,
Probably,
we
They
saw
need
yeah.
to be spinning.
we saw Luke and Vader pod race against each other in that one comic, so we know it's not completely gone.
Oh yeah, that was different. But yeah,
That's
I
canon.
had no idea that.
there's a
that
video
happened.
game
I
we
think
found
the
out about.
circumstances to make that
demolition.
happen were tenuous at best.
I love how you're just like, I have no memory of this.
Trying to think. Yep, he does this. He does the spins. He says it's wizard. He flies through the Boonta Eve track with the
That's a new line I gotta practice. Wizard.
wizard.
There you go.
Yeah,
Very
that,
fast.
that sounded really good.
Very dangerous.
Very fast. Very dangerous.
Oh, and
That
I
was-
love
that was
when he went
Qui-Gon?
back to be like, hey, check it out. Check my new ride out, little Rodian guy. All right, now we're gonna do some barrel rolls.
And then he gets pulled over.
by
Yes!
the
Flying
fun
unsafe.
police.
Dude, the New Republic is the fun police. I'm sorry. I'm glad the New Republic's gone. They're a bunch of chumps. They're a bunch of lamos.
You're glad they
You don't
get
know
blown
how to
up.
have fun.
Policing the space, but not the planet.
Honestly. No, but really, I mean, I do like this whole like New Republic is just like the fun police. I love that they just keep popping in and they're like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Send me your codes. I'm gonna pull you over. What are you doing?
It's good.
here?"
It's good.
Like, I love it.
Carson,
They-
I love that he showed up.
As
Like,
Dean was buzzing
man.
around the airplane, I'll call it the shuttle bus. I was like, "Isn't that illegal?" Like, you
Yeah,
can't be
dude,
doing that.
honestly,
And then he
I
gets
was
pulled
like,
over. So it's
Whoa,
good.
Yeah.
buddy, You're
Immediately.
too close. You're
Well,
freaking everybody out.
All right, hang on.
Over
Before we get
sometimes.
too far off, this is Phantom Menace.
Yes.
So
Yep.
there's that, and then
is.
here are the buildings from Phantom Menace.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
I didn't even notice those. That's amazing.
Look at that. Isn't that awesome?
Wow,
And you
I
get to,
guess
like, the
those must be locals
seats
who
in the
live
house.
there. And they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just go
Those are
stand on
Jawa
the food truck.
houses. That's where you retire. They look too small
You
to
go
be
live in the-
people houses.
They
They're
look
far
just
away.
like indigenous dwellings in American Southwest by the Hopi
Yeah, they do.
Native
there you
Americans. That's exactly what they look like. There are like houses like within like caverns like that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good call. Good call. He gets back with the ship, and then Fennec Shand is there.
Yep.
We were all waiting for something to happen. Boba's not there, but Fennec's
Anything.
there, and
My goodness.
Oh,
that's
the
where
droids-
it ends.
The droids
What?
were in top form today, or in that episode. Like,
Look
oh
at them
yeah, I love
hiding.
the pit
Oh,
droids
yeah.
just hiding behind
Treadwell.
the frickin' stick boy.
Treadwell.
I'm so happy about Treadwell. I love the pit droids. They had
Treadwell,
some
thank
good angry.
They're a
angry
great
action.
gang of great gang
And
of droids.
Here's
we
the
got
trio
to
again.
see.
And it's just so nice to check up on R5. You know, like
Yeah.
I was worried about him in the Mos Eisley Cantina. That wasn't a good spot
Is this the
for him.
gonk?
I'm glad,
Yeah, here's
I'm
the
glad he
gonk.
found work for Bella.
There's the gonk.
There's the gonk powering up. The
Oh yeah, we
Starfighter.
got the gonk powering up shit for
It's
once.
like a clear
you
top
know,
gonk.
I'm gonna say
But
it.
we got it in Bad Batch at a very key moment.
I love when gonks power things up. Featured
Like in.
our YouTube video, Power Trip, made by our good friend Ryan Morelli.
I'm looking forward to our all gonk run of the Skywalker saga at some
Dude.
point.
Yes, the Lego gonks. All
So
gonks.
I'm honestly
Legendary.
100% in for like oops all gonks.
Oops,
One
all the
through
gonks.
9
Whoops, all gonk.
is just all
Oops, all
gonks. We can get through the whole thing. I think we can.
Oh yeah, we can free play that.
Talk about Gonky for
When I
years.
saw-
I
when I saw
got this
Lloyd in the
gonk today,
credits-
actually.
Yes.
I thought what?
Talking about gonks. Gonk, gonk.
Yeah, I was about to say that I saw Lloyd in the credits, and I was
Yes.
like, Jake Lloyd?
So I think
He was the guy who
Wrong Lloyd.
he
was
was
Luke.
Luke Skywalker.
He was Luke. Yep. He looks like Billy from Stranger Things there.
Oh right, you're right. He was. Luke.
I like said that when we saw the behind the scenes last time. I was like, he looks like gosh.
Oh
what's
yeah,
that
you
kid's
did.
name?
That was a while ago.
Like his name is like
Do plunks count? Yes, plunks count.
Plunks.
We-
The
Thanks.
triple
long
gonk.
gonk.
The triple,
Long
the
gonk.
long gonk that
Long.
gets blown up See, this is the difference. We get happy gonks when Mando's around. We get sad gonks when Boba's around.
It has to
I
balance
was-
out.
Poor Triple
Boba's
Crown.
happy, Din's sad.
I was rewatching The Bad Batch today for an unrelated reason, taking screen caps for something, and I noticed Gonky literally walking down the stairs, and so I was very excited to see this.
How does that work?
Not this Gonk. I don't know, but Gonky walks down the stairs, and so in rewatching this episode of Boba
Godspeed,
Fett,
buddy.
the Gonks were also just chilling in the background, just just waiting. And I loved all of Pelly's droids in this episode though, because they all have so much personality,
Oh, yeah.
much personality, and
They
they're
really do.
scared of the animal that's running around and whatnot, and
Oh,
yeah.
when the Womp Rat almost kills her, like
the
Velociraptor style.
Oh my
What the
god!
hell was that?
Was she
She's just
playing
like,
it up, or was
What was going on there?
What happened?
Like, how did you get that close to the damn thing?
Oh
In
my
the
God.
in the
It,
concept art, it was
disappears,
huge too.
Yeah.
my
Well,
God.
it's
I was
supposed to be
convinced it
2
was a
meters
prank.
wide, right? Must be a baby.
Yeah.
Probably.
I was convinced it was a prank. I thought she was just gonna pop out and be like, haha, gotcha.
Yeah,
But
because
no, she was actually dying. I'm sitting there like, oh my god.
Yeah.
She was really playing it up, and then Din does the shoots her. Or
She's
not
like,
her.
"What an
shoots the
angel."
Thought
Womp
I'd
Rat.
stop by.
And then she says the one line that I think sums up everybody's mood going into the episode. Mando's here.
And
I
they're
think
all
that
Hey,
everybody's
Mando.
like, oh,
How long do we
Mando's
think it's
here.
been
Oh.
since Mando season 2
not very long.
to this? Not very long.
I don't
Not very
think
long at all. But
Okay.
it seems like a
It seems-
week has gone by since Boba took
Honestly.
over.
Seems pretty
Uh,
fresh in
a week.
Mando's mind. He seems pretty down and depressed still.
Yeah, I'd say
So-
I feel like he
couple
would have let
months.
him, get used to things for a while.
yeah,
Ooh,
So
Brent
you think-
says 6 months.
So you think
I like that.
the regular Boba takeover? I think about a month has
can
happened
see
so
that.
far, because
I can
maybe
agree with a month.
they dropped in off doing whatever the heck he's doing, and he's trying to find if there's anyone left of his covert, taking jobs, finds a lead, finds them. About a month, yeah, because he's good at what he does, but they're also good at what they do, which is hide.
Because there's the end of season Mando. There's the end of season 2 of Mando,
There you go.
and then there's the extra credit scene. We don't know what Fennec and Boba did, because Boba pieced out. Fennec was still on the Gideon's cruiser with all of them and the
Yep.
ending scene.
Yeah.
So we don't know how much time there is between then and the credit scene, and then from the credit scene to the beginning of
Good
Book of
point.
Boba, it's probably like a week,
Yeah.
days to a week. So I don't know. So maybe it's been I like a month. A month.
A
sounds
month,
good.
I think, is a
Wouldn't wait
good
too long.
time.
But I can
'Cause they
imagine
wouldn't
him
wait
getting settled
around.
in and,
'Cause I think we're still in
decorating for a
9
week or two.
I think we're still in 9 ABY. I don't think we've strayed into 10 ABY and beyond. I think we're still within the year that they keep telling us that Mando and all these shows are going to be set in.
Boba did take a year or so to find his armor on the same planet he
That's
was
true.
on. But
Maybe now he's working fast. He's like, I worked way too slow to get my armor, so now I got to really rush. I got to really rush this whole takeover thing.
I think I was at first confused as to why Din would want an N1 starfighter as a bounty hunter. I mean,
I still
what's he
think
gonna
it
do
doesn't
with the
really
poor
work.
bounty? Stuff him in whatever amounts to a cargo hold?
yeah,
Yeah,
He's never
stuff
gonna
him
put
in
a
the
magic
bubble.
rifle in there, or any of his other weapons. There's no wall to have of pew pews, so
hopefully it's a
I
sign that
think
he's
this
done
is also
bounty hunting.
symbolic of how Din, along with Boba, is trying to let go and find something to do other than being a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said, that's the only reason I'm hoping that we spent an entire episode that could have been spent fleshing out this story, where I think there's a lot that could be done pacing-wise to give Book of Boba Fett more context.
I
I'm
think
hoping
that-
that this episode and the symbolic nature of everything Din's going through really does play back in.
So I think the reason that they did this in this moment was because if, say, they play the Mandalorian theme and then he just shows up and didn't give us this episode, it'd be like, well, what is he doing? Is he distraught? We all really wanted to know. So it was unfortunate that the timing of the releases are this way, because they straight up could not have just had him shown up, because that would have been much weirder than spending an entire episode. This is what he's been doing, because he's really become such an important character for the story.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one could make the same argument of Boba, and Boba just showed up, and then we spent a whole year going,
That's
well, what
true.
the heck did Boba do? And that's
Yeah,
here we
Yeah, we're
are
gonna
now.
have to
Right. show
I
about
think
it.
it would have
catch up
worked
with
just
that on
fine.
season 3.
That's
Yeah, I think it would
true.
have worked just fine as episode 1 of season 3, and then we just have him show up, and he's like, yo, what's going on? Listen,
Yeah, 'cause-
don't bring up Grogu, because I will cry.
I mean, I think
I
it's
have the
really,
Darksaber, but it's really hard to use, so don't talk to me about it either.
it's
Yeah.
really bold of them to put such an important episode for Mando in the Book of Boba Fett. Now
There's
we're
gotta be a good
expecting
reason.
people to have watched Book of Boba Fett to understand Mando season 3. So for anybody who skips over Book of Boba Fett, they missed like one of the most crucial like episodes in Mando's entire arc.
Yeah.
And I think that's just so interesting to me. It's like I almost feel like they put this episode in the show just to be like, so you got to watch Book of Boba Fett now. You got to watch it. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, I
hope
think
that's
people
not
would
what
watch
it
it
is. There's
anyways,
more
but
to it.
True.
Thematically, that there's more to it.
but how it's Boba Fett when this show's been going on, when Book of Boba Fett's been going on,
Sorry.
it's had a much different feel than Mando. I remember saying that on one of these earlier HMLs, and I liked that. It had this just a different feel to it. I can't explain it. It's just like a thing. But and then we go
Yeah.
back to Mando, and this felt like Mando. It was Mando,
It was.
and
was.
it feels very jarring to not use that pun again, but it was very jarring to just kind of get this, but also so exciting. So it was bittersweet. Like you get a 10 out of 10 episode, which by the way, this is how we were all feeling about the episode.
Oh,
So
God.
there's Tobey Maguire on his thoughts on
Oh,
this
my
episode.
boy.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, it's so weird because between the flashbacks, last week we opened up the HML with kind of complaining, nitpicking that the flashbacks were kind of messy a little bit. It worked out fine, but it was messy, and the present day story has been crawling, and then the present day story doesn't move at all with Boba Fett in this episode because he's
know.
not in it. So
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
It just concerns me that the creators don't even seem interested in talking about Boba. So, like I said, reserving judgment. I'm trusting that there's something to why they're doing this because there's no way they don't think meticulously about all this stuff before they even start shooting it. So
You're right.
there's got to be
I
a good
agree.
reason. We just got to wait and see. I just am very confused, intrigued, and excited because, we got a lot new about Din, but confused.
Yeah,
This
I
brings me-
agree. I
Oh,
feel like
sorry.
everything is going to make sense in the end, or at least will slightly make more sense as it progresses. And so, like, we can't like isolate these episodes on their own because they are all part of the broader story, and they're trying to make it as interconnected as possible. So, yeah, we'll
There's
see
a
how
lot
it
of-
goes.
We'll see how it
There's a
goes.
lot of
We'll see
distrust
how it goes.
in the community with Star Wars specifically, in terms of the creators. There's a lot of distrust. And I think we all know where it stemmed from, and I don't think it's fair, but that's a whole other conversation. Because like Marvel doesn't really have this same problem. There isn't nearly this much distrust in what Marvel puts out and the stories that they put out.
That's true.
True.
And I think that everyone's just excited to see what new things are happening or what new like after credits things going to happen. With Star Wars, it's like, oh, but I don't think they did this right. They didn't do this right, and they should have done this instead. And like, I'm doing that myself, just as guilty. But I think it speaks to a broader thing because at the end of the day, I'm still willing to trust. I'm still willing to, accept I don't know the whole story, and I'm excited to see it because I love it in universe. I love everything that's happening.
Right.
Even the parts
I
that
wish it
everyone's
came
like,
out all at once. I really wish it came out all at once,
do
or
like
like
that.
half and half.
I don't
No
think I
because
did.
like
I like doing this weekly show.
I love
like-
doing
I like
the
doing the weekly show, and
The
also
weekly thoughts.
as soon as all the episodes were released, I'd spoil it for myself. I'd be spoiled immediately.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
You
I'd
do
have
that
to-
anyway.
But
I
I'd
don't
be
like
forced
binge
to
culture.
binge them.
One
I like
episode
binge
gets
culture.
released, and you
Look at
like
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
There's
Stranger
no
Things
one to
comes out, I have
speculate.
to clear my whole schedule just to watch it all, so I don't get spoiled.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly.
I love content. I love watching it. I love consuming it as much as they want us to. But damn,
I wish
like
they
being
did a
able
few
to
at a
milk
time.
it.
It's
I
good
I
to
wish
let
they
it
did
read.
a few at a time.
Maybe the
Yeah.
animated shows, but not the live action.
Yeah, I could definitely see the animated shows. A half an hour every week is kind of like blue.
And
Ball.
there are
Yeah.
a lot the animated shows, maybe not Bad Batch as much, but they always would work in arcs. Clone Wars was
Yeah.
in arcs, so
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a little different. But this brings me to my big question for all you guys. Matt and I have been arguing about it for 2 days.
Oh boy.
Are the Pikes
Oh boy.
the main villain of the show
Yeah.
or not?
You're
and I have
really
a specialist.
fishing for an answer.
No fish
No.
jokes.
No.
We've overdone them. I have a
No.
specialist to bring in a minute on the subject that I like his takes. So
Are we? We're throwing them all trout.
Stop it. Stop it.
We're casting
Hey,
a
you
wide
can't-
net today.
You can't get
let's
this.
Jamie
Yeah,
or
we're
Jamie or
with the
Jack.
fishing
I know
buddy.
Matt's take. We'll get to him last.
So
but what do you guys
I
think?
regarding Jack, you go ahead regarding the Pikes.
I honestly, I want it to just be the Pikes and just like, because like emotionally they're the ones who I think, because like there's still a twist to be had in the, were they the ones who did it and just blamed it on the bikers? That's perfectly good enough of a twist for me because the Swoop Bikers were such an emotional part of why he's doing what he's doing, because of what they did to the Tuskens or what they did. I'm wondering though, because someone brought it up on whatever channel I watched it on, what if it's Garza Flip? Because like she's just like wheeling every time they walk in there. She's just got control of everything going on in there.
And we've seen her a lot.
Black Chrysanthemum.
She's very sus, you know. Like she gives Boba money, then Boba immediately gets robbed when he leaves.
Yeah,
it's kind of sus to me.
A little bit.
I like that take. I like it.
She's too all-knowing. She wheels and deals every time she walks in.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a very good twist.
I think that would be a good solid twist.
It's always a good villain that is going to be the secret villain has to be like Agatha, right? Like
hiding in plain sight.
You have to know who they are. You know, if it had been Mephisto, then a lot of people would have been like, "Who the hell is this? Why is the devil in this awesome show?"
Who the hell is this? Mephisto, the devil? What?
It wouldn't make sense to anyone except the deepest cut of Marvel nerds.
Exactly.
Same thing here. I think it makes more sense for it to be someone who we see has control, can be a bit manipulative, like when she tried to spin Chrysanthemum away from killing the Trandoshan. I think she makes the most sense as the real puppet master.
So, okay, yeah. I love that theory. I think that in general, though, with the Pikes, I think that they want us to believe that they are the big bad, but I feel like they are also working, possibly partnered with someone else. Maybe potentially to stem off of that, Garza is working directly with the Pikes, and she just doesn't tell anyone that she's working with the Pikes. Or I think that there may have been, literally based on thoughts today, I think that the Armorer definitely holds some weight as they are going to become a bigger adversary in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they're partnering with some other syndicates just to like get muscle. I think that since we had an episode that was fully Din and so focused on the Armorer and Paz Vizsla, I feel like they're also somehow going to be involved with this plot. If they're not, then it's going to be really weird that they were just there and then gone.
They got a lot of screen time. That's a good
I think that somehow they're going to like come up like additionally. Maybe.
I just think there has to be someone bigger pulling the strings. It's another feeling I have. I don't know why. I accidentally called it bad writing earlier to Matt, but it's like weird writing.
Well,
the Hutts showed up, then they pieced out. We've barely seen the Pikes, really. I know they probably killed the Tuskens, but
we've barely seen like the
it feels like that was 20
plot.
years ago at this point.
It'll be a huge problem if we have multiple Disney Plus shows, almost in a row, where there is a secret villain hiding in plain sight. Like, that doesn't have to be the end to the story every time. There's other ways to unveil exciting new elements of a story besides, I was the secret villain all along, you didn't even know.
I like your helmet mustache.
Right? Just had to make sure that was clear.
It's a good point. Matt,
Thrawn is the secret big bad of this whole thing. Brent is right.
The show would be better off if there was not a secret villain hiding in the shadows, to be honest.
I have to be
disagree.
honest. I think
In the
everybody is
shadows to the
over
left.
complicating things. I think they've set up the Pikes. They keep talking about the Pikes. They brought a bunch of fish dudes in a
They're
big ship.
emotionally connected.
They're setting everything up. If anything, it's going to be revealed like maybe Cad Bane killed the Tuskens or something like that. But it's not. He's not going to be the main villain. He's just going to be like
Cad Bane, you said.
hired.
They're getting all Harkonnen on
Yeah.
Tatooine, and I mean, if the ruins I think that would make total sense because he would be the only one who could just walk in, go, and then just spray
But
paint
he's
it.
not going to be the main villain. It's still the Pikes.
That's how Cad Bane shoots, right?
The Pikes just feel weak to me. I don't know why.
I know you.
And it doesn't feel. I know
you
it's
don't like the
emotional,
Pikes.
but it's also not that emotional. My experts here
AJ,
on
you
the
want to bring in your
hotline-
expert? Bring in your expert.
I'll bring in my
I
expert.
think it's quite emotional.
See what they have to say.
They killed him.
Let me
There's the
tell you.
expert.
Let me tell
No.
you about my good friend
No.
Qui-Gon Jinn. You know what he told me? He told me there's always a bigger fish. That's what he
Is
told
this part
me.
of the bit?
And I don't think
I have no
I
idea.
don't think
Jack.
that
This
these
is.
stupid fish people
They
are the big
are.
bads.
They have
All right.
to be, dude.
He,
This is-
Cad
hold on,
Bane
what
comes
happened?
in. He would
Wait.
be the main antagonist. If you can singularly focus all of our negative energy into this one man at the end of the show, he would still be the villain, not these anonymous fishmen coming off the ramp at the
Why
bus
am I not
stop.
hearing anything?
They're
Something
not.
happened.
They're not the bad men.
Oh,
Jack seriously can't hear
we
what's
lost
being
Jack.
said.
Jack's gone.
Mando's gone. The expert is here.
Levi was the villain all
laying down
along.
on the lawn. It's
Yeah,
me.
there you
I'm
go.
the
It's a
villain.
secret
The
villain.
big
I'm
reveal.
the villain.
Twist that mustache.
I've been waiting this whole time, stalking the chat, talking about Let's Resi. I'm the villain.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Your
Levi from
runaround.
All New Nerds has joined us as our
In the
ages
shadows
expert for
all
this
along.
today.
I think you guys are overcomplicating things. I think even if Cad
I don't
Bane
think so.
comes in at the
Oh my
end,
god,
he's
I
not
didn't
gonna
hear a
be
damn
villain.
thing.
Wait,
My
essentially,
audio cut out as soon as Levi showed up, and I'm like, is this some bit
He-
where like Levi gets? Hold on, no, I think the audio is dead again.
No,
It's like going on the
Jack.
fritz, man. What's happening?
It's tragic.
This is tragic.
Maybe it's my head. Maybe it's my.
All right, I'm gonna drop him out while he figures it out, just in case he needs some time to.
Mano just got bombed.
oh man, the N1 hit some
Right.
turbulence.
Maybe
You
maybe
feeling-
I'm
you
just
better?
happy here.
You better?
Stay a little longer. That's hilarious. For now. Like Levi showed up and then it immediately went dead, and I'm like, wait, did you bring him on just to let him talk without being able to be heard? Because that is dark. That is next level. What is happening?
That would be
That's rude.
something.
No, I lost it again. What is happening to my audio?
Not unrelated to any bits. An actual point about this episode is
Oh,
that
it's killing me.
during Pelly's like
I feel like old Mando.
check it during
What
Pelly's
setting
big.
do I need?
I have a real point to make to Matt. Okay.
Oh,
During Pelly's like montage monologue, you get like references to the sequels with the whole Faster Than a Father thing. She's talking about the Galactic Republic, but then they also intersperse some expositional dialogue about how the New Republic is backing off of Tatooine. Ever since the Pikes showed up and started running spice to Tatooine, it's all gone to hell. And to me, I'm thinking like, but why? Why do they even care?
Huge.
I know, but why do they even care about Tatooine to begin with? Like, I think even if the Pikes are the big bad, there's some other motivation here to make like the New Republic pull away, for them to come in the capacity they are, and like
I think this is
Bib
more...
was just if Bib they could have pushed over Bib if they wanted to. Bib was just sitting
Yeah.
there, like
So
something
I
else
think
is going on.
There's some
Something
clown
else.
show going on.
Yeah.
It comes to the fact that the New Republic just has no control over the Outer Rim whatsoever.
Which is
They're
true.
just completely losing control of the Outer Rim. You know, the Pikes are coming into Tatooine, so they're just going to back off, as opposed to, you know, fighting them for control of this backwater desert planet. They're just kind of abandoning the Outer Rim. That's where the so-called, you know, Rangers of the New Republic were supposed to be, right? They were supposed to be these people who were going to keep law on the Outer Rim while the New Republic kind of steps back. So you were going to have, you know, maybe Cara Dune and you know, Cobb Vanth and maybe even Boba or Fennec Shand become marshals, and that's just probably not going to happen now.
So
or it's going to happen in another show because they
I'm,
hate us.
I'm very disappointed by the lack of Rangers of the New Republic
Me
too.
too,
But
dude.
hey,
I know.
can I, Levi? Can you give me the cliff notes of what you're?
All right,
Because I
Levi, do
desperately
your
need to
bit.
know what that was.
So let me tell you about my friend named Qui-Gon, and he told me that there's always a bigger fish, Jack, and that's basically the genesis of my argument. And then I provided
Okay.
some joking
Always a
examples, and
bigger
then I was
fish.
talking about some real examples. I don't know. I just think that like it doesn't make narrative sense to me. If there has to be, even if it is
I
the
agree.
Pikes, there
I
has to
don't
be some
think-
other motive to it.
I don't
Like
think
with
it
the way
would make
the
narrative
Huts
sense.
came in, and then the Huts backed off, and
The
then
Huts
new-
are what makes
Yeah, that
make
was
it
weird.
weird.
That was super weird.
guys.
like
you
there's
guys,
something else.
nobody gets it. The Pikes are humongous. They're one of the biggest
So that's a
cartels.
that's
I
a
know,
big
but they were
I-
also vassals of Darth Maul, and then Crimson Dawn had a rival. Like they're big. They
They
control
were.
Kessel, but they were. That was a long time ago. Like this
They
is
still
Now,
are.
now we're
They
seeing
never
the
stopped doing it.
Huts don't even have the control that they had. They can't even push out one guy and like a handful of people out of Jabba's palace. Which, while it wasn't Jabba's like for that long, at the end of the day, like the Huts should be able to take over whatever the hell they want and not have to argue with anybody about it. So the fact that they're scared of the Pikes, you know, like I think it just speaks to the change in power dynamic. And now the Pikes are basically the Harkonnens of this era, and have way more because that's the thing. The economies, especially an
Harkonnens,
underworld
if you will.
economy, they shift, especially as supply and demand changes. Especially once Bib died, The Pikes moved right in,
Yeah.
and suddenly they had this
That's a
map.
good
I don't know
point.
why they're trading through Tatooine when they can
You know
just
what's
trade
going on?
intergalactically. Whatever.
You know what's going on? There is definitely some like major like shipping like hurdle going on Nar Shaddaa right now. Like there's like a evergreen like stuck in like their canal there somewhere or something like
Oh,
that.
no.
Like
Stuck in
the
massive trade
canal.
dispute. It's awful. And the only
That
people who
is-
are getting through are the
Where's
Pikes,
the
and so they're
Senate?
the only ones making any business right now.
They can-
So that's what this is
a
right
good
now.
point.
They're just suffering from massive supply chain like troubles and disputes right now, which is
Relatable.
just they're just
Yeah, it's
really
like
trying to hammer it
intergalactic plague.
home as this is what's going wrong with everything in the world right now. We're making it happen in Star Wars. I'm totally kidding. That's not happening, but I thought it was funny.
Hey,
I
it's
will
possible.
say that if there is a bigger villain revealed at the end of the episode, I won't be disappointed. I won't be
That's
sad.
Probably
right.
a little bit.
I'll be fine with it.
Really?
But I just don't think they're setting up for that. I think everybody's just
Neither.
overcomplicating things and looking into it and being like, no, actually,
Well,
it's,
not
you know,
even necessarily a
It's a,
different.
it's a burden of knowledge issue, I think. Like, because you have to look at it from what's in this show. Because as we saw with Bad Batch, they're not really concerned with what us as like deep divers, and even more so, like what we know and are expecting in terms of the whole lore. They're just not paying that much attention, or they're going to they're going to write it. They're going to tell it their way.
I don't
They're
know.
gonna
They,
retell
they
that
did
their
they did
way.
have Scorch and then Mount Tantus at the end. Like those are pretty.
They also
Yeah, but-
retold
Yeah.
Kanan's origin. And,
you don't need to know
It was-
who
it was the
Scorch
same-
is, and you don't,
Yeah.
Mount Tantus will probably be explained in season 2.
Guys, do we
Explained
need to do a
again.
stream about the Bad Batch again? Because I'm game.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
really good.
Chances-
Eventually.
Just name the time and the place. I just got to get my hunter cosplay done.
So, we've talked about the villains. We have our opinions. Whatever happens, happens. I'm down for anything. But
Yep,
let's
same.
talk about.
So wait,
Do we
before
think-
you go away, I actually do agree with you a little bit, Matt. I think that possibly the Pikes might be it, but I also agree that
different
they're-
motives.
I think that they're definitely like there's someone else that they're answering to that like we don't necessarily know about yet, that hasn't been established yet. But I think that it might be the Pikes, but then there's gonna be like Big Pike.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But I-
Kingfish.
Yeah,
Kingfish.
there you
King
go.
Jack's fish. Sando Aqua Monster. This is Sando Aqua Monster
I'm down.
leading the
What
leading
was
the
I,
fight.
It's literally just like this
Dude, no,
stupid
King-
buff fish, and he's sitting there and
Yeah.
they're asking him questions, and he's just like, "Roar." Like,
He has a really big tank on Obadiah, and he's sitting there on
he's
his
just sitting
giant
there.
throne,
They're trying to talk to
underwater
him.
throne. He's a giant fish tank. This
I will
giant.
say, I
ripped
heard rumors
fish.
that Din was going to show up and that he was on some sort of planet that was like kind of spacey, and I was like, Nar Shaddaa? Nar
So the
Shaddaa in
ring
live
world?
action? Nar Shaddaa in live action?
I think
Swap.
it's
Guess
City,
I'll
whatever
settle for
happens.
a
City.
ring world.
Glavis.
Glavis. Although we
It's like
could wish for
Nar
Swoop City
Shaddaa?
for some
Can
other
I-
time.
You
Yeah,
can't have Nar
Chloe,
Shaddaa? Here's Nar Shaddaa at home. Nar Shaddaa at home.
You
Hey.
get closer and closer to Swoop City every day.
We do.
Just
We
put-
really
put-
do.
Just putting that out there.
Wizard.
Wizard enough.
Wizard.
I know, Dimes, I never pull up your stuff over there, but you're always telling us what to do. Just
Dimes,
sit
I
back
read
and have
that
a good time.
I read that you watched Ghostbusters and it was very wizard, and I'm very happy, very excited for you, very proud that you watched it. Anyway, there's a
Anywho.
lot of
Anywho, I
demand in
think we're
there
gonna
for
see
Bad
Grogu
Batch.
next week.
A lot
We're
of
gonna see Grogu
demand.
next week.
that was
say
I was about to
Yeah.
bring us to my next point
I think
of
so.
do we think we'll see Grogu and Luke? Or do we think I've heard the theories of
All right.
that will be off screen. We'll just get with Boba next week. Mando will be back for the finale. What do we think?
I think the latter's more likely.
I can't speculate on this because I don't want to get into rumor territory and then end up being true and then having spoiled it for people. So I'm just gonna leave it.
Okay.
I think
You haven't even told
Grogu's
me these things.
going to be around next week. No, what I said to you yesterday is not entirely out of my head.
I don't even remember what you said.
It is based on things that we've heard.
Oh, and an age. When
Just
it
go
went
back
out.
and
So
read
I
it,
guess-
dude.
Will Smith came over and just gave me the flash, and I forgot. So.
I feel like I have a similar problem as Matt, where I feel like I might have some information that could be true. So what I will say is this: to people who are worried that if they go to see Luke and Grogu, they couldn't wrap up the show. Yesterday, I was saying, just remember when we were on episode 6, chapter 6 of season 1 of Mando, we just had the prisoner, and people were going, "How is this show gonna end? We just had like these 3 filler episodes. Where's this gonna go? How is this wrapping up?" And then chapter 7 and 8 of Mandalorian season 1 wrapped that stuff up really well. They brought back IG-11 from the dead. They literally had a whole montage of him being rebuilt, and they got Quill, and they got Kara, and then they went, and then Moff Gideon showed up in like the last scene of the
Big
second to
episode.
last episode, and then it ended, and then no one was concerned. like they were during, oh man, the Gunslinger, what Toro Calican, what'd that do for the story? You know, now
Twilight
people love
Zone.
season
All
one,
that.
and
People don't
so
like fan service, I guess.
and so
Had to
I'm
reset,
saying,
reset.
I'm saying that people, I think they can do it in 2 episodes. I am not concerned, no matter what they do. I think they can, if they are set out to do it, they can do it because they've proven they can wrap it up within 2 episodes.
Well, that's the
in the
thing,
past.
right? Like,
I
it's
like
all
this.
about whether you trust them to be able to tell a coherent story. Like I totally do. I guess I'm just like, I mean,
Jillian.
it's the analogy I think everyone's had for this episode is like, oh well, I mean, I ordered a burger, you got me a steak. It's a good steak. It's a really good steak. Oh my god, seasoning just. But I ordered a burger, so like, what do I do? You know,
No,
like
From that
do I-
meatpacking plant
Now you have to eat it in front of us, though.
Yeah, and I have to go
right
down
now.
to the meatpacking plant and just.
and get your own beef.
Why don't you sit
I have
down
talk.
at the table and
I think that they're gonna save Grogu and Luke for Mandalorian. I think they're gonna save that. I agree with the comment I just pulled up from Jill that I think that something's gonna stop him from going, because I think it's very weird that they literally ended this episode with Mando saying, "Oh, I gotta visit a little friend," and literally time is of the essence, like on Tatooine right now, and it's just like, what's gonna happen?
they
I
just
don't know.
teased Grogu like 8 times in
Yeah,
the previous
no.
episode. And
Yeah,
then he's
yeah.
like, I gotta go pee.
And-
We're getting
But
little
Grogu's gonna
friends.
have a tiny little
He's got that little-
Beskar little
Yeah.
mithril
They gotta
Frodo
give him the
thing,
drip, dude.
and
They
it's
gotta
gonna
give
look
it.
adorable on him.
It's gonna look
And
great.
you can't take that away from him.
wrong, okay?
Okay,
Maybe
I will
I'm
say-
wrong.
Jillian's latest comment, strong disagree with that. Cannot disagree.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
no
Grogu's
way.
gonna die. I
There
feel like
is
they
no
know.
freaking
they've already-
way.
they will
Yeah, you
piss off
hate to
fans.
say it. I hate to read it. That's not
Grogu
happening.
will
That
never
was-
die. He will never die.
The other-
Are you kidding?
The other thing I've been thinking about, it's very obvious. Maybe we will see Grogu next week because Din has that new ship with that little bubble in the back we see behind Jack.
It's a Grogu bubble.
Grogu's
100%.
gonna.
Yeah.
Luke is
Doesn't
gonna.
it look like those backpacks you put like little dogs in?
Yeah, it
It
does.
does.
I have one
Luke
for
is
my
gonna-
cat. It's great.
Luke is gonna let Din, I almost said Jack, give Grogu a ride around in that ship, and we're gonna get a shot of Grogu looking at the stars.
And he's
through
gonna
the back
go,
of that.
Aw.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
like,
he's just
"Oh."
gonna have. They're
Oh
just
my
gonna have a
God.
fun little trip, and then
That's
it's
gonna
say, "All right,
happen.
bye. I'll see you next time at Parents Weekend."
Here, I also brought this up yesterday as well. I think that if we didn't have this episode in Book of Boba Fett, if the season 2 of Mando ended with them separating, and then the first episode of season 3 was, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Grogu," how cheap would that feel?
I know.
You know? And so
That might feel
having it in this in
That's
between
fair.
where he goes, "Oh, I just want to go check on him and give him this little gift while he's training, and then I can go back to doing this other stuff." And it's like this nice little interlude where we get some Mandalorian lore, and then for season 3 we can just go full into the Bo-Katan
Oh,
Mandalore
man.
stuff, and then back
Don't-
half we can get Grogu. I think that makes
Good
sense to
point.
me.
That's a good
Don't
point.
Because,
even
like,
get me
Scenario where
started.
Grogu has like a cave troll at Fellowship moment where they think he's been hit, but he's got the little Beskar underneath. That'll be
That might happen. That might
Meanwhile,
happen.
Boba's like, "Can I get some goddamn help over here?" Like,
He's like, I don't give a
I
shit
asked you
about
for
this.
help, and then you
He's
go to
like
the other side of
when
the
he's
world.
writing the review for Din's service
I'm
later, he's gonna be
trying.
like, "Showed up very late.
Very late.
Did waive fee.
Did
2 out of 3 stars.
Wait,
2 out of 5 stars."
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Boba
Still
was on a
good rating.
3. But yeah,
Do we
Boba's on a
think-
3
He
scale.
worked
talk
3.
about it.
You give him a better score than 2 out of 5.
3-star scale.
Do we think we'll get any
He's doing
more?
it pro bono. That's at least 3 stars, no matter how bad
Exactly.
you do the job.
Exactly.
Do we
Unless you
think-
actively wreck things.
Do we think Din will have any more recommendations for friends to help out?
Yeah, he's gonna get Migs.
Buddy. Yeah.
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 Cobb Vanth Watch 2022.
Wow, that came out of nowhere. You had that ready. You had that ready to go.
Well, I always pull this one up, so I had.
This is a big job. We're gonna need some help.
We're
Do
gonna
you
need
think-
Costanza
I know
and
it,
Dinjarin. I mean,
Costanza-
Ed.
You
Cobb.
think Cobb eats sandwiches while he's fighting crate dragons?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He had it
Uh-huh.
under the
Kind of guy.
helmet.
He's
Oh,
the
yeah.
kind of guy.
He's always
Yeah,
doing
he's-
like the Western like roll, just like. Oh
He's
yeah.
actually-
Uh-huh.
He's using golf balls and just knocking them right into their blowholes.
He's actually
He's a-
eating
he's
a
a-
crate dragon sandwich there.
He's a marine biologist. Not my man.
Wait, it
If
was
you guys-
Kramer who was doing that. My bad.
Chad, if you have no idea what we're talking about Seinfeld. So
Go watch Seinfeld.
See what's angry, my friend.
90% of them.
throwing it out there.
What's the deal with Boba?
A new Twitter came up recently.
Crazy.
He's not in his own show.
A new Twitter came up recently. It's literally called Cobb Vanth Watch, and no one from the HoloNet Marauders are adminning that account. I just
Jamie
feel like
thought
that
it was
needs to
me.
be said. I thought it was AJ when I saw the account get made yesterday, but it's
Well,
not.
Matt-
But
Matt
there is
thought
a
I
Cobb
was-
Vanth Watch Twitter account out there.
Matt thought it was unique to think Cobb was going to show up. And I'm like,
I haven't
everyone's
seen
thinking.
anybody talking about Cobb coming
But that-
in.
Reddit
It's
is
us and
stupid.
Cobb Vanth Watch. We're the only ones.
I think no. I
There's
saw it.
dozens of them.
I saw people out there because he was on some talk
Seen
show.
millions
and
of
he,
people.
and he had the Cobb cut, and people were like,
He did.
Yeah.
Like, why are you looking like that, huh, Timothy?
That was right around like last summer.
Yeah, it was like
or
when they were
spring.
filming
Yeah.
this, and they were
Yeah.
like, "What are you looking like that for?"
It's
Hey,
not.
I'd love it if he
It's
showed up.
because he's literally like 100 miles away
I
or
know,
whatever. He's on the
literally right
planet,
there.
Must
so
be
it makes
so
sense.
exhausting trying to keep all this stuff under wraps,
Maybe that's the post-credit scene. It's just Cobb on the porch.
He shows up.
Like
He's like,
that.
"Am I late?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
Mando
Yeah.
walks over to Mospelgo.
He's got the
Hey,
bar.
Hey, is this spot
I got a sandwich for you.
What? No, but really, what if like Mando walks up to him to recruit him, and that's like literally what he does? Like, I will like.
That's how I'd feel.
This is too
Uh,
much, guys.
God.
Too much.
But seriously, I think that possibly there's potential for Mayfeld because he definitely
Mayfeld?
trusts. He trusts him.
What's the deal with
What did I
Mayfeld?
say about overcomplicating things?
Mayfeld.
For like extra
Yeah,
help.
I don't know.
Not
For like extra
Seinfeld,
muscle,
Mayfeld.
extra help.
Cobb's at least a stone's throw away.
Yeah.
Cobb, I can see because he's on the same planet. Mayfeld died in that
Yeah,
in that
did he?
refinery
He
explosion.
No,
died.
He's
died.
gone. They're not gonna
Yeah.
get him back.
He's off the. Off
I
the
know, but
books.
only Boba knows where he is. He's just chilling on Morak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
true.
It was like I got a guy who's waiting.
Boba.
He's just
wait-
sitting-
he's waiting
sitting
for
there.
something to
They go
do.
pick him up.
They can call Migs
Look.
anytime they want. Like, listen, you're gonna wear a helmet and you're gonna help me because otherwise, I'm just gonna tell everyone you're alive.
You know, I watched
I
that
know.
episode the other day, the Believer, one of my favorite episodes of Star Wars television. But it's so cool now when
Great episode.
when Migs picks up the cycler rifle, it's Boba's Tuscan one, and it's like I know how you got that, Boba, and that's cool that
Ooh.
you have that.
Oh, that's a
I
good
didn't
point.
think of
Yeah.
that.
I gotta rewatch.
And it's just
season
a
two.
cool little detail that he has that in Slave One. He picks it up, and I'm like,
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? Like, it's. I talked about it when we finally started getting to see Boba picking the pieces up. Is when he showed up in Mando season 2. It's like, oh my God, he's got this new outfit and he's got these Tusken stuff. How did this happen? What led to this? I need to know. Versus like Han's outfit, like I don't need to know where he got the blaster or his last name. That stuff. It's just who he is, and it just makes him so interesting. We already know Boba. Seeing him change so drastically, it's like, oh my God, I gotta see how this happened. And that's why, like with Mando, it's like I could have seen Mando like already dealing with what we saw, and would have been just as curious, like in this episode if it had been taking place in the Book of Boba, and then been just as excited going on to see more and that context in season 3. But again, super excited to see how it all wraps up and how it all ties together because I'm sure it will.
It's gonna be a wild ride.
Mayfeld is gonna be there.
Hey, just throwing it
Sorry.
out
Just you
there.
wait.
Just
We're
let
still
me
thinking about
cast
Mayfeld?
that wide net while we try to
Levi,
capture the pikes.
one
okay?
final thought or
Gotta
one
have
final
some fun.
question.
one final expert opinion.
Nuke or not
No,
nuke?
they're not nukes.
Oh, it's a nuke. It's a
They're not
nuke.
nukes. They're not going to Mandalore and then getting irradiated and dying. They're not doing that.
100%.
The
No.
radiation wore off.
It's been
The
10
radiation
years.
doesn't wear off in 10
It
years.
doesn't
On
wear
Man-
off
on
the
Mando-
foods.
On
It's
Mandalore, it
been-
does.
It's been 10 years since those nukes dropped.
I
Who
don't
knows
think
how
it's been 10
Half-Life
years
works in
since
space?
the
Oh, 100% it has.
Right, it
That
does wear
scared
off.
me.
It takes
Oh, no, it
years,
has.
years, years.
No, it totally has.
How?
Because Bo-Katan gets the saber in two years before the Battle of Yavin.
True.
And then stuff goes real bad, I gotta imagine, real fast. Like, I can't imagine that because I always took it as, oh, this is why the Mandalorians aren't around during the OT. Because I feel like if the Mandalorians were as prevalent as they were, they'd be everywhere in the original trilogy. But
Fair
they're
enough.
not. I think they get bombed real
I
quick.
still
And then it's
think years
4
is enough.
years and then another 5, so it's like 10 years.
Yeah, and
So
it makes sense that Boba's the only one that would work for them for a long time because like he wasn't really emotionally a part of them.
One thing
Yeah.
to bring up as well, Levi, you would probably know the answer to this best, but when the Empire bombed Anowat, that was during the
They
early
gassed Anowat.
they gassed it, and then the planet literally
Like,
it's still inhabited,
when-
but it was in a recent Resistance era comic, in which like Rey and everybody had like a base like on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anowat,
Oh,
but the
yeah.
Empire literally gassed it,
An
and like
allegiance, yeah.
it stayed gassed like from like
R.I.P.
I don't know, height of the Empire till like the sequel trilogy beyond.
Yeah, that was an
Anyway.
uprising.
So
Allegiance?
I remember that.
gassing of a
uprising.
planet.
Oh, the bomb's dropping. Yeah,
That
yeah.
happens.
That's where
Yeah.
Governor Adelhard is.
There you go, Governor Adelhard, my guy.
Hey.
More Adelhard, please.
Yeah, let's get
Adelhard.
Adelhard in here.
Where's
Yeah.
Adelhard in Book of Boba Fett? I think
Adelhard
he's
is
the
dead.
You know,
Yeah,
Matt,
he's the villain.
Yeah, Adelhard is the
He's
villain.
the evil mastermind.
Hey, here's one for all you
Fingers.
Adelhard fans out there. In
I'm
the
an Adelhard.
Battles That Changed the Galaxy book, it sort of implies that maybe Adelhard lasted a little longer than Jakku. He's out there.
I have
Holy crap.
no idea what's actually being
Tell
discussed
Nick to
now.
show up next
Jimmy,
week.
you opened the can of worms.
I'm
love that.
sorry. Yeah,
I would
close that
love
can
We're
of
talking about
worms.
the bombing of the
Alright.
Anowat
Alright.
sector.
What are we
Come on.
talking about?
Bring it back.
Talking
I
about
believe I gotta go
nukes.
find a little green friend.
Okay. Goodbye,
That
everybody.
code
We'll see you,
for
Din,
the
and
bathroom.
everybody.
Thanks for coming out,
Thanks for the
everybody.
ammo.
See ya. Goodbye.